Hey, it's Marin, and this is the January 2020 forecast for Aries Risings. So we will start out looking at what the astrology for your January looks like, looking at the transits day to day, with what are the important days for you, and then we will pull out the tarot deck and oracle deck cards to round things out with some guidance for how to assemble and integrate that energy. So overall, this month is definitely an outer focus month on not only firming up some changes that you've made in your career world, but shifting into how do you network more authentically and implement those changes into an even more public reach as well. So starting out on the 3rd, Mars will enter Sagittarius in your 9th house, meaning that more energy, maybe more conflict or more struggle will be entering your world of foreign travel, long distance trips, higher education, or philosophy in general. So there might be increased effort or troublesome, problematic things going into that area of your life in whatever way that manifests for you early on this month. On the 9th, the Sun will conjoin Mercury in your 10th house, a Kazemi in your house of public image and career, which means at the beginning of this month really will be an event or a time of stepping out into the newness, into receiving maybe more information or feeling more publicly seen in your career world. On the 10th, Uranus will be going direct in your 2nd house. So there's been some revisiting of old changes that you made financially, and now starting this beginning of the year, there will be new financial changes coming into your world for the next few months. Definitely some unexpected financial things happening for you. On the 12th, Saturn conjoins Pluto in your 10th house, and on the 12th as well, Mercury will conjoin this Saturn-Pluto conjunction. So with Saturn and Pluto conjoining, this is the pressure cooker is finally solidifying into a crisis that needs to have limits spread upon it, or there'll be a final implosion of a brewing transformation. And with Mercury conjoining the Saturn-Pluto conjunction, there will be an ability to speak up about this or find communication happening in whatever this transformative crisis, good or bad, whatever you want to prescribe it as, more of a metamorphosis in your career world, happening middle of the month. On the 13th, the Sun then conjoins Saturn and Pluto. So the day after, on the 13th, you can expect there to be more of you involved in the situation, more of you stepping into this culmination for a final breakthrough of transformation in your career world. And then also on the 13th, Venus enters your Pisces 12th house, which might mean that it might feel better to go within. There might be more harmony with meditation or yoga or spiritual practices. So even though there's a lot happening in your career, publicity, your external world, there's a call to actually go within and be a really nice time to, take a yoga retreat, even as you're maybe networking on the computer or something on the side. On the 16th, Mercury enters Aquarius in your 11th house, and on the 18th, Mercury in your Aquarius 11th house will square Uranus in Taurus. So you can expect some more communication with networking to be also understood with some surprising financial shifts that might influence that communication to be a bit erratic. So I wouldn't be surprised if you're in cahoots with some sort of organization or group, and that leads to some unexpected things happening financially, just some things you have to deal with more urgently. On the 20th, the Sun enters Aquarius in your 11th house, further illuminating your networking, your social life nearing the end of the month. And on the 22nd, again, the Sun will square Uranus in Taurus, so that there's this unexpected or this need for fast-moving change in your networking and financial world connected. And you can allow that change to happen, but don't feel rushed or don't act rebelliously just for the sake of making a statement. That can be the risk of Uranus transits. Take a deep breath, maybe look into yourself, look into if it still feels aligned after a few days, and then make the change, because rebellion is kind of relative, but there's stupidity and that's not relative. On the 24th, there is a new moon in Aquarius in your 11th house, and this new moon is a refreshing new beginning for you to set intentions for a new way of life that you have decided to step into after the past year of purging out an old way of life, for you to deal with networking. You've done a lot of changes in your own personal career world. Now what does that look like when you connect with others on a career basis and find what that new translation of your goals looks like in connection with others as you form strong social social bonds. On the 25th, Venus will square Mars between your 12th and 9th houses, so there's kind of a cat and mouse energy going on between you not really having all the details, and there might be an authority figure that's pushing you to get clarity, but you feel in the dark, or there might be an authority figure that's keeping you in the dark and you feel an urge to solve that issue. So do watch for some issue in your 9th house of foreign travel, of authority figures, of foreigners in general, to trigger some sort of feeling of being in the dark or being lied to. The 27th, Venus conjoins Neptune in your 12th house, which definitely adds to, there might be some great dreaminess happening in your personal world or your internal world. There also might just be some huge deception by someone behind your back, honestly. And on the 27th, with Mars squaring Neptune between your 9th and 12th houses, there's likely going to be you feeling some need for inaction, or you're afraid to make steps against someone that is higher up than you, that you do feel is taking advantage of you and your long-term goals, but you're not really sure how to articulate that. So even though this month, the end of the month, I think I made it sound scary, where it's more just confusing. So I would make sure that this month encapsulates the authentic version of yourself that you know that you declared with all the endings of this past year in your career world, so you can translate that into structures that support your social world as well. Now let's pull a tarot card and see what tarot card comes up for Aries risings. So we have temperance, and a good metaphor I like to include when I think of temperance, even though I don't drink myself, I'm anti-alcohol, is like drinking, is like watering down your wine a bit so you can still get a buzz, but you don't get too fucked up. So I think that this is telling you that you don't need to make any drastic shifts that might be spiritual bypassing. You just have to commit to making the changes in the first place and trusting that the path will unfold with changes that support you sustainably. Now let's use the Work Your Light Oracle cards. Let's see what deck comes, or what card comes up for you for some oracle guidance. Deep replenishment, retreat, rest, be held. So even though you're doing a lot of public things, make sure that you're grounding back into your spiritual practices. And I think more than ever, because you'll be dealing with more people than usual this month, it is important that you really keep going on these spiritual practices, your grounding practices, and going within yourself to meditate daily, which I don't say in like a joking way, like fucking meditate. Now let's play Law of Attraction card and see what comes up here as well. I am selfish enough to want to feel good. Oh, I love this. This can't make this shit up, literally. You cannot perceive life from any perspective other than that of yourself. Selfishness is the sense of self. Unless you are selfish enough to care about how you feel and therefore direct your thoughts in such a way that you are allowing a true connection to your inner being, you have nothing to give another anyway. Everyone is selfish. It is not possible to be otherwise. So last year you let go of a lot of the old, and now you're ready to ground down not only a new way of dealing with others, but relating that back to a center of being in yourself, that like radical self-care translating into radical abundance of manifestation. So if you found this helpful, like, subscribe, do all the things, check out my private astrology consultations down below, and comment how this month is showing up for you if any of these really resonate. I always love to hear from you. Otherwise, I will see you next month.